Thanks, Kent. I think this is our last gathering here before the season opener on Monday. So obviously very excited to get the season tipped off, especially opening up here at home in the PMAC Monday night at 7. From an availability standpoint, coming out of the exhibition game on Monday, you saw Jalen Cook's statement as we still await word on his final clearance for the season. Trey Hannibal has still been out with illness. Hope to have him back in practice today. Derek Fountain returned to practice yesterday. If we continue on a good path this weekend, expect to have him available for the game on Monday night. And then Hunter Dean, I believe, was our other player who missed Monday's game due to a shoulder injury. Day to day, will be out of practice today. Hope to have him back in practice this weekend, which would clearly make him available for Monday night's game. And with that, we'll open it up for questions.
The players told us that Jalen was still practicing with your team. So what is your approach there? Just try to keep him as ready as possible? And do you have a time frame or an expectation or hope for that?
Yeah, it don't have a time frame. That's out of our hands and with the NCAA appeal. But he's doing everything with the team, from weights to player development to film study to practice, everything except for competition in the game. So he did miss about 2.5 months that we discussed earlier this summer and early fall with a hamstring injury. He's back at 100% and has been practicing very well. So I think he's done a good job. As you can imagine, this has put a lot of strain on him, trying to navigate this to see what's going to happen. But I think he's done a good job of staying focused on the things that he can control and practicing hard and getting better.
Hey, Coach. What about this year makes it different from last year? Kind of the way you coach or the way players are taking direction, and like now that you've had a year under your belt, how is that helping with this transition? I
Yeah,
guess.
I think every year stands on its own. I think, past disappointments don't guarantee future disappointments, just like past success doesn't guarantee future success. So, I don't really live in the past of the disappointment of a year ago. I think we do have an experienced team. We've been able to bring in some guys who have produced at a high level individually and also coming from some winning programs. I think our returning group of 5 that we brought back, led by Derek Fountain, have a really good understanding of what we're trying to accomplish as a team. And so I think, for me personally, it's a fresh start, and I'm thankful for that fresh start. I talked about it last week. I'm thrilled to be here at LSU. It's been everything I hoped it would be for me and my family, and love our team and excited about the opportunities ahead for our group.
Yeah, outside of winning the game, what are some of the key things that you look for in the first game of the season?
Yeah, I think some of the things that really shined through in the exhibition game, I thought our guys played with great energy. I thought they played extremely hard, and then to finish that off with great unselfishness. And so I think that has to be the foundation to our team. And then I want to see improvement on the defensive side of the ball. Out of the exhibition game, we gave up way too many straight line drives off the dribble that put us into a lot of rotations defensively, put us in some bad positions from a rebounding standpoint. Would like to see more discipline and attention to detail at that end of the floor.
Yeah, Matt, when you, I guess, looked at the film of Will Baker, what immediately did you like? Was it the main old school post game, good hands, good passer, good decisions?
Well, I think a couple things jump off the page. Obviously, size at 7 feet, 245 pounds, and then skill level. That he can score from either block in the post, can really shoot the ball well from the perimeter. Has been around 39% from 3 the last couple years. And then I think in today's game, as you see the floor spread out and the spacing, his ability to pass and make decisions from that center spot has become more important than it was, say, 10 years ago. So overall, the skill level for his size. And then, just as importantly, he's a relentless worker. and he's all about the team. And so I think that helps you connect people together and gives you an opportunity to build a cohesive unit out there on the floor.
You talked about this some on Monday, but just now that there's some clarity here that you can move forward at least to start the season, who are some of the guys that you're looking to kind of maybe take that initiative that Jalen may have taken had he been available for you guys, and just how different do you think this is going to look now if since he's not going to be a part of it at least to start the year?
Yeah, I think, Glenn, what we talked about Monday, Jalen is, to me, a really electric player in ball screen offense. He can score, but he also creates for others there. I think our other guards are a little bit different, and that's not a bad thing. I think we just have to play a little bit differently when Jalen's on the floor versus when he's off. So I think you saw that some on Monday. Again, I know it was just an exhibition, but Mike Williams, Carlos Stewart, their playmaking, I think they were 15 assists, just 2 turnovers. Obviously getting Trey Hannibal back, a guy who in the Bahamas was 20 assists, only 4 turnovers in those 3 exhibitions there. So I think it just we'll have to play a little bit different from a scheme standpoint, but I think guys have been preparing that way, since June, and I expect them to be ready to go.
When we talked to the players, they talked about the energy and like you demanding it at a practice. And you mentioned energy just a moment ago. Do you feel like you have a little bit more accountability with this team, and that they also have their own brand of accountability amongst each other?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we haven't played any games yet. I think everyone's in great spirits. The energy's good. Roles haven't necessarily been defined at this point. Minutes and shot attempts and all of those things haven't been divvied up. But I really like our group. I do think when you look at 7 out of 13 guys being in their 4th or 5th year of college, playing at this level, they have a good understanding of what goes into winning and what's going to be necessary there. And you mentioned the word, and I think it's a critical word, accountability. I think they understand there's a certain level of accountability, both to their individual performance and to the performance of the team, that they all have to hold up their end of the deal.
Matt, we talked to Tyrell a little bit about last season. He didn't get much of a chance early in the season, but in his last 10 games, I think he played very well, a lot better. Did you have to convince him to stick around? But I guess you didn't, because he told us he's no quitter. But what did you see in him at the end of last season, basically?
Well, I think, Sheldon, you're talking about a guy at 6'7" at the guard spot, so he has good positional size. Really shoots the ball well from behind the three-point line. I think an area he's really improved is his finishing in the open floor out in transition. So we'd like to get him out and get those opportunities. But no, I think a big key to our team, those 2 guys, Tyrell Ward and Jalen Reed, top 60 recruits coming out of high school, is the jump they're able to make from their freshman to sophomore year. I think both had terrific off seasons in the player development program. And, I expect big things from both this year. I think both are very much improved as players. I think they're more comfortable now having a year under their belt playing in the SEC. And I'm excited to watch them play on Monday night.
Did something click in a little bit for him at the end of the year?
Well, I think early in the year, last year, I think a lot of freshmen, it was really difficult. We've talked about this before, how it was the oldest year in the history of college basketball. You had 23, 24-year-old men out there playing. And so it was tough early for the majority of 18-year-old freshmen. I thought as both learned what goes into the day-to-day operation, the habits you have to develop, the commitment, the hard work it takes in the weight room, film study, player development, you saw both really grow. And then just historically, players from year 1 to year 2 in our program have made big jumps. Just the familiarity with how we do things on a day-to-day basis, the consistency and time invested in the player development program. And I think both are really talented players that possess great size and athleticism for their position, and both are very skilled. And so I think that's a really good combination, and I'm excited to see them take that jump this year.
Yeah, Coach. How impressed have you been with Mike Williams, as obviously coming in early in his career, and then where does he still need to continue to develop?
Yeah, we talked after the game. I think one of my favorite words in college sports these days, stability. He provides a lot of stability. You know what you're going to get every day. He's a great leader for a true freshman. Really communicates well on the floor. You see him take command of the huddle during timeouts. He's a competitor. He has great toughness. I think you saw his ability to run the offense and really get the ball where it needed to go in these early exhibitions and scrimmages. He didn't shoot the ball as well as he's capable on Monday night, but I think you'll see him do that as the season goes along.
Hey, Coach. Milani Wilkinson came off the bench the other night, had 17 points, hit 5 threes. What have you seen from him in his development offensively, and just what kind of role does he kind of play now coming into his fourth year?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed coaching Mwani. We know that the trouble he had last year with the shoulder injury and the season-ending surgery, but since he's been cleared back in early July, and even through his rehab process, I think he's been just relentless in his work to get back on the floor. I think he's provided great leadership by example in our program, and he's shot the ball at a high level. And he's also an elite athlete. So I think in today's 3-and-D terminology you hear, I think a guy who can shoot it at a high level from behind the three-point line. Because of his athleticism, he's able to guard multiple positions on the defensive end. And then an area we've continued to challenge him because he is so athletic and explosive is to help us on the glass at both ends of the court. But he's been terrific, really consistent daily, especially over the last 3 or 4 weeks going into the season. All right, thanks so much. We'll see you on Monday.